Hi, I'm Andrew Gitt, and thank you for joining me today to learn more about how to get the perfect credit score. I look at credit scores like my favorite basketball team, playing in the Final Four. Sure, all we need is one more point for the win, but if we want to do it right, we're going for the highest score possible. And if you have a bad credit score, you want to up it up. If you have a decent credit score, you want to make it better. If you have a good credit score, you want to make it great. Speaking of doing better, can you help me get more likes by clicking the thumbs up button below? And don't forget to hit the subscribe button too, so you can keep updated on my news and information. Changing your credit rating is not just about hitting the perfect score. And here's why. Of course, you want the perfect score. And in that process of getting it, as you focus on improving your score, you will practice good financial habits. You will increase your financial responsibility. And you will create a strong foundation so that you'll stay at a high score instead of going up and down like a roller coaster. Remember that some things can improve your score more quickly. Others can take time. Today, I'm going to give you a few tips, and maybe share others with you down the road once you have gotten these under your belt. Number one, the first thing to do is to know your credit score. You can call 1-877-322-8228 to request a free copy of your credit report. Know the starting point. It's like people who want to diet. You should get on the scale the first day to see what you weigh to start with. And there are sites like Experian.com that offer free updates on your credit rating. I suggest signing up for the free information so you can monitor what's happening with your credit score. Number two, the second step is to keep track of your credit score by finding out when it's going to be reported to the credit bureaus. This is pretty easy to do. Just call your credit card company and find out when your balance will be given to the credit bureaus. This is not the due date on your credit card statement. Here's why you need to do this easy but important step. For better credit scores, it is important that each month your credit card company can report that you are not using all or even too much of your credit you have available on your credit card. So you want to make sure much is paid off before that amount of the remaining debt gets reported to credit bureaus. I recommend having only between 10 and 30% of what you are allowed to use still owed on your credit card when it gets reported. Obviously, only 10% is better than 30%. Let me explain a bit more. Let's say you have a $10,000 limit on your credit card, and when it gets reported to the credit bureau, you still owe $5,000 to the credit card company. That means you are using 50% of the card. That's called a utilization rate. You want to have 10 to 30% utilization by the time it is reported. Here's the important tip. If you pay off your full balance, or even most of it, every month, but you can do it after your debt gets reported to the credit bureaus, that can hurt your credit score. Meaning, if you pay your $5,000 debt after it's reported, that doesn't help you. The goal is to get your debt to zero or as low as possible right before it gets reported to the credit bureau. And to do that, you have to know when it's going to get reported. I suggest setting up autopay so that each month the payment will be made at the right time. You won't have to keep track of it as it happens automatically. Number three, be smart about paying debt on multiple credit cards. Obviously, it's best to pay off the full amount every month. But if you cannot, and you have a few different cards that carry credit card debt, sometimes it's better to pay more on one card than on another. Basically, look at all of your debt and see where you can get a better ratio of usage. It's better to pay more on a card with higher debt than to take a card with lower debt down to zero. Now, here's a tip. If you're good about paying off your credit card every month, but your credit score is not high enough, one way to raise it is to get more credit on your card and keep it paid off. Most credit card companies will increase your credit over the phone, so raise your limit, and then you will have a better ratio of what you can use and what you are using. This can easily raise your credit score. Also, sometimes it happens that you can't make your credit card payment on time. Do everything possible to pay within 30 days. It's not good to pay later than that. Some credit card companies do not report late payments to credit bureaus until after 30 or 60 days. But try not to get into this habit. Let's take a 20-second break here so I can remind you that I'd really appreciate if you click on the thumbs up link below this video. Also, if you want to get important information and tips to you, coming to you on a consistent basis, click on the subscribe link too. Number 4, don't open too many lines of credit. I have heard the stories of people who want to get free points and perks offered by credit card companies, in particular the travel cards. So they open up accounts with 5 or 6 credit card companies to get the benefits, planning to cancel after a year. This is a mistake. The more credit cards you apply for and get, the more it sends a message to lenders that you want to take on more debt. Number 5, speaking of new credit cards, don't get rid of the old ones just because you got new ones. It's great to limit how much credit cards you have and to get rid of some of them if you have too many. But the one you have the longest is important to keep. The longer you stay with the company, the more reliable you seem for the credit bureaus. So if you are following these steps, you should see over time that your credit score goes up. How do you keep it rising? Remember that only about 1% have perfect credit score. It's not considered an easy thing to do, and it's actually not necessary. Focus on getting it above 720, and the closest to 850 is possible. But what can you do if you want to hit the perfect score? Pay off your credit card bill and all other payments, such as mortgage or car loans, every month. Even if you can't pay it all at once. Even if you can't pay it all off, keep it to a minimum. I just want to remind you that I'm talking a lot about credit card debt and credit card payments. But it is also important to look at your mortgage payment and car loans too. Any other ongoing payments for loans you need to be considered. Any other ongoing payment for loans you have a need to be considered. Make sure you pay them on time. Don't pay late. Some credit scores will be affected by late payments within the past 7 years. Keep a no late payment record for 7 years to achieve a perfect score. Don't use your credit card too much. It is suggested that you only use 7% of the credit limit each month. Keep a credit card for a long time. The longer you have good credit history, the easier it is to achieve a perfect score. Sometimes you can be close to a perfect score. You are doing everything right, but why are you missing the mark? Because you haven't had enough credit for long enough. How long you have credit history is 15% of your credit score. Don't open new accounts. If you have a really good credit score, you shouldn't need more credit cards. You should be able to get better rates on your loans or get a higher ceiling on your credit card. And realize that just because you do everything right does not mean you are going to keep a perfect score month after month. Mostly, a perfect credit score is just so that you can be part of the exclusive club of people who achieve it. It doesn't really give you added benefits. But having a high score does, and that is important. So remember to monitor your credit score and know what's happening with your loans and debts. Once you get your debt under control, you can start exploring investing money and making it a more passive way than a 9-to-5 job. Are you ready for that? Check out my other videos and get informed when a new one is available by clicking the subscribe button under this video. This is Andrew Gitt, and as I'm signing off until next time, remember, if you want to make money today, learn how to invest right and without a delay.